What's up, guys? Spenny. It's funny how humbled you can get in the modern era. We think because we have Wi-Fi on planes and we can use AI to generate slop that we're so smart. But none of us have been to a star. Nobody knows what it feels like to step foot on Mars. No one has even been to the lowest point on Earth in the ocean, and we discover a new animal practically every single day that we didn't even know, and it was existing here for thousands of years. Didn't even know about it. Here's a new jellyfish, here's a new bug, here's a new bird, whatever. It's a wild and mysterious world, and there are so many unexplained phenomena. It obviously is the bedrock belief in God, for me, that there has to be an intelligent designer because this design is just so immaculate, intricate, fascinating, and unexplained, like the pyramids. To this day, I mean, listen, if you were trying to try and build the pyramids of Giza, you wouldn't really be able to. There's just no explanation for how they got that rock so far. How they were able to move rock that weighs more than a house and move hundreds of thousands of them, carve them perfectly, and have them built on top of these giant cylinders. Yep, got it. Okay, we've been covering this story for a while about how the pyramids aren't tombs, how they actually are built deep into the bedrock. This according to scientists who've used SAR scans. These are satellite pulsating sonic scans that go deep into the Earth's core. They're used all the time, by the way, for various other different scientific pursuits, military pursuits. And when they scanned the pyramids, they found these cylindrical shafts that led all the way down to the bedrock. Scientists uncover second hidden city beneath Egypt's Giza pyramids. Discovery that rewrites history. This is what they're saying. Vertical shafts that descend more than 2,000 feet into the earth. They're 8 aligned cylindrical structures. And this is what they look like. And they've been able to replicate this. And the scientists have gone public, talked about it. And it's drawn the attention, obviously, of a lot of people who are quite curious about what the hell's going on in Egypt and how did this happen? How was this created? What's the point of the pyramids? Archaeologists discovered these huge spiral-shaped structures. Well, one of the people who have been the most curious about this is Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan had the scientist on his program. Here's the scientist. Filippo Biondi is his name. He kind of looks like the kind of guy that would study these things. Aliens. I'm not dunking on him. I'm saying like good on you, dude. Let's hear more. Joe Rogan's latest podcast guest delved into the controversial scans showing an enormous underground structure beneath the pyramids of Giza. The scans are conducted by Italian scientist Filippo Biondi in a specific project that used synthetic aperture radar, satellite imaging technology. More than 200 scans from multiple satellites, including Italy's Cosmo SkyMed, US-based satellites show uniform results suggesting massive pillars 65 feet in diameter, wrapped in spirals plunging nearly 4,000 feet deep. These pillars appear to end in a massive chamber beneath the pyramids. And the Sphinx, which Biondi describes as huge chambers. What's in those chambers? Goodness. These are not tombs, they added, if the data is accurate. This is just the tip of the iceberg. What are they? Many people have asked about aliens, everything from aliens to power generators, major light or energy structures. It's pretty cool. You should watch, obviously, the whole Joe Rogan podcast. And you should also watch these little clips that we've bumped out for you. The mystery of the pyramids, the hidden megastructures beneath the pyramids confirmed. Here we go. Here's the scientist talking to Joe Rogan. These are not tombs.
And so this discoveries matches a lot with his and also to other scientists that make recast the effective purpose of the pyramid not to be tombs. So today we are sure of one thing, that the pyramids are not tombs.
They're not tombs. And what is truly spectacular is that if this data is accurate, those immense structures that have baffled mankind forever are just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
That's just the top.
Yes.
And underneath it,
There is.
you have these immense structures that we have not yet fully explored, but you have data that shows that. Let's look at the images. Let's pull up some of the images so people can see what we're talking about. Because once you see it, your mind just goes, okay, what are we even talking about? Like, what was this civilization? When did it exist? And what kind of technology would allow them to not just construct the pyramids, which is absolutely baffling, but if this structure that is underneath the pyramids is accurately described by your work, we're looking at something that it is going to have to change our entire perspective on the history of humanity.
Yes, I agree with you, Joe, because what we found, it is something that has been confirmed by our measurements. And at the moment, I suppose that our measurements are the only data that we have, because there aren't other data. So, what we are observing, we are observing principally vertical structure. This vertical structures has a pattern, a regular pattern, and this regular pattern is constituted by a so-called spiral nature. I found this.
Again, this is Italian scientist Filippo Biondi describing what these underground structures actually look like. So, fascinating stuff. Here we go.
Yes, that is the Khafre pyramid, and you see, Joe, at the top of the tomography is on the X, so the horizontal dimension, we have the space, okay? Space, just the range. And on the vertical, we have the depth. Okay. On the top, we have the pyramid, you see. You see the pyramid on the top. And while you go down, you are observing the structures that are going down, and look, you have the spiral nature of the structures.
Okay, this is not the clearest image that I've seen. So let me see some other images.
No.
Because this is just one, right?
I know this is from his presentation, and I didn't know where to get the best
image
from it.
Back up one. So
go. Okay, again. We have a lot of images here that is recasting all the research that we have done together.
So the images that are going around online that people have seen are these 3D replicate. Pull up some more of those.
Yeah, I wasn't going to get them off the web.
Okay. Some of the images online are recreations of what it is observed and what you believe this could look like underneath, correct?
We have performed measurements, and they are sound measurements that has been picked up from the surface of the Earth by satellites. So they are very precise, and they are coherent. Coherent, it means that contains a lot of information. So it is characterized to have high entropy. And so when we perform the so-called tomographic inversion, we can see what there is underneath.
I love Joe Rogan for having these style of conversations. I love that has such a curious mind. He's unafraid of approaching these kind of topics. Like, what would these underground structures be used for exactly? Here we go.
So 600 meters down, and then they reach a chamber.
Yes.
What is the conventional explanation for these shafts? Is there one? Like, what do current archaeologists, what is academia, what do they think these things are? Leave that right there for a second.
Yes, this is the complete 3D model that me and Corrado did. And so to observe all the structures that we found, evaluating the tomographies that we have done on the Giza Plateau.
So it's not just under the Great Pyramid, it's under all three pyramids.
And also the Sphinx.
Yes. And they all seem to do they go down to a uniform depth?
We found at the moment the same depth, yes.
And they all have chambers at the bottom.
Yes, absolutely, yes. And that's the in my best opinion, the next thing that we are dealing. At the end of the structures of these tubes that are going down, there are huge chambers.
How huge?
As I told you before, 80 meters times 80 meters and times 80 meters of height.
And that's uniform underneath all of the pyramids?
Yes.
It's the same dimensions?
Yes.
Wow. When you look at it like this, when you see your 3D recreation of the site, it's stunning.
Yeah.
Because it just makes you think, like, what is this? I mean, I can understand the skepticism, and I can understand the resistance to this that modern academics have, because this throws a giant monkey wrench into everything. This makes everything we know about that area thrown into question. Because if this is true, like I said, this rewrites history, because you're dealing with an advanced civilization that is demonstrably more advanced than us.
Yes, because they were able to build very precise things, but not at the surface of the earth, below.
I mean, if you are living in the modern era and there still is no explanation for how the pyramids were built or what they were built for, then you do have to like just take a giant step back and say, you know what, maybe we don't understand this stuff and we need to be open to all available explanations. And that's what we are on this program. Let me know what you think in the comment section. You think this guy's a kook? You know? You think he's crazy? You think he's crackpot? Or do you think that they're onto something? Joe Rogan clearly loved that. So do we. What, baby?